Hey guys, guess who's back? It's Hope the Prac, your favorite practitioner. Okay guys, yesterday I brought you a video on the coronavirus, letting you know the truth about the things that you didn't know and perhaps those things that you did know. So today I'm doing a follow-up on the things that have happened today in the news so that you guys can be fully aware of what you need to do to keep you and your family healthy. I'm not trying to be the news forecast or anything. I'm just basically bringing you tips from a healthcare perspective for things that you may or may not know. So today there was a big house thing that went on, interviews where they interviewed Dr. Fauci with CDC, and they also interviewed Dr. Redfield. Both of these guys have been doing healthcare for a number of years. Dr. Fauci has served, if I'm not mistaken, I think 6 presidents as far as advising about different healthcare issues. But it was very, very informative as far as the information that they gave. Some of the tips that I picked out so that you guys will not have to go and look for this information. One of the things that they talked about is that healthcare workers have to prioritize, who's going to be tested first. They don't want all of their healthcare providers to end up becoming sick, and then you don't have anyone to take care of the people who have the coronavirus. They have already told us that about 80% of those people who are affected with the coronavirus will not need to be hospitalized because their symptoms will quite possibly be very mild. So not everyone will need to be hospitalized. Not everyone will need to be, in ICU or those type of things. Some people may have very mild symptoms to almost no symptoms. So that was one of the things that they talked about. Right now, it's 118,000 people worldwide that have had the coronavirus. 4,290 deaths worldwide. All right. They're also saying that they will not be holding, our government will not be withholding any information from us regarding the coronavirus. They have vowed that as they find out day to day, what direction they need to be going in, they will keep you as well as myself and all the nation abreast of what's going on. They had a lot of questions that was addressed to them on the floor from different states and so forth. One of the things that they also talked about was, different relief acts and to help with this particular problem. Some of the states such as Michigan and several of the other states brought up the fact that a lot of people are living from paycheck to paycheck. You have people who may be hotel workers, nurses assistant, convenience store workers, grocery store people, employees who do not have insurance to go to these hospitals and so forth and to spend 12-14 days in the hospital, nor can they afford to be off work that long. So they felt like, okay, well, if people can't afford to be off work that long, then it's quite possible you're going to have people who's going to be sneaking back to work simply because they're going to be trying to get a paycheck. So with that being the case, due to 42 CFR 71-03. It was said today in the House that emergency testing, treatment, diagnostic, and evaluation will be free to all people in the United States without cost to them. I repeat, 42 CFR 71-03 states that due to the emergency situation of this worldwide pandemic right now, it says that every person is allotted free health care to take care of this particular situation. And one of the Senate members made sure that they addressed this and that it was duly noted today that people who do not have insurance will not be assessed a penalty or the amount to the bill, they will not be assessed a penalty or a bill for treatment for the coronavirus in case this happened. Nancy Pelosi has also tried to get a stimulus package that is called, let me find it here. It is called the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. And what this act will do is it will allow the House to expand sick leave to help provide for families, as well as also provide food assistance to needy families as a result of a sick person or a person stricken with the coronavirus, and it causing, that big change cycle in the home where everything now falls apart because you have the head of the household or the main provider sick with the coronavirus. So they're also looking at that too right now to try to provide some assistance to these families. It was also talked about today in the House that FEMA will also be available to some people much later down the road to kind of help with some of these problems, as far as helping to put back, helping people to where it may be a breakdown in their homes, their bills, continuous revenue coming in, all of those different things, just like FEMA has stepped up when it came to Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Irma, and so forth. They're also planning to have them available for later on. Of course, you guys know that right now, there's only 11 states left right now that has not had a positive confirmed coronavirus case. Right now we have 38 Americans who have died, 30 in Washington, 4 in California, 2 in Florida, 1 in New Jersey, and 1 in South Dakota. Okay, all and these are the states as of right now who have had St. Patrick's Day parades canceled, and that's Boston, New Orleans, Savannah, Georgia, Chicago, as well as Mississippi. All right, in New York, even houses of worship, so the churches, schools, any place that have gatherings or events where they expect 250 more people, they are canceling those events. And sometimes even if it's not as many as 250 people, they're planning to cancel those as well. Today we also found now that the higher institutions of learning in the state of Mississippi have extended spring break, simply to try to prepare for this, so that they can go to online courses for the students to make sure that they do not miss any instructional time. Let me see what else I need to tell you guys. Testing. The House talked about that. They do have testing available. The testing for the coronavirus involves swabbing the throat and the nose. It is not something that you get the results right then. It is a 24-hour process. So please be aware. Also be aware that just because you present to your family provider, you will not be tested. They have to contact the health department and notify them of the symptoms and their suspicion to have a reason to test you. And the health department would then go ahead and advise them on if they should be tested or not. So please, before you go to any primary care, any emergency room, it doesn't matter where you are, what state, please call ahead. They are stressing it over and over and over. They are trying to do a triage process to see who needs testing and who don't, because they're trying to keep as many people safe as possible. Guys, also they're encouraging, if you have access to telemedicine, they're encouraging you to utilize that. I know for a fact that certain places do have telemedicine. I know UMC has telemedicine, as well as some other facilities that you may be able to utilize. But please, if you can, utilize telemedicine. In some places even also have 800 numbers that you can call for a screening process too. Let's see what else we need to talk about. The CDC also have manufactured many kits. They have now sent the kits out to different facilities, especially the rural health facilities, so that people can be tested. Let's see what else. I want to make sure I get all the good points to you guys so that you all won't miss anything. Vaccines. They have found out that even though that they're in the first stage of getting a medicine to someone to test it on the first person, they are about a year to a year and a half away from possibly even coming up with a vaccine that may be able to kill this virus. So just because they're in the first stages of getting a medicine just to possibly test on a person, they are still a year to a year and a half away to possibly developing a vaccine that would even remotely be ready to give to someone. Another thing that they talked about was making sure that they went and overnight from containment to mitigation. And remember, we talked about this yesterday. Containment simply means, social distancing. If you don't have to be out somewhere, don't. If you do have to be out, keep your distance from people. Also, hand washing. Do not rub your hands. Do not rub your nose, your eyes, your mouth. If you can, stay away from large crowds and so forth. Now they've gone all the way over. They still, stress confinement or containment, but also they've implemented mitigation, and that's where we see the closing of the colleges and in Mississippi, as well as in other states. They're closing colleges. They're encouraging large churches not to have services and so forth. So now we're in a situation where we have both containment and mitigation, and they're saying that it's going to take both. They do not want our healthcare system to be overwhelmed with, this month you have a lot of people with the coronavirus, and then our healthcare system do not have the resources, the staff, the personnel, the equipment to take care of them. They're hoping that the containment and the mitigation will allow that if people are to get sick, then it's stretched out over a period of time instead of all at once, and it just kind of just bombarding our healthcare system at this time. Tennessee and Louisiana both have had confirmed cases of coronavirus. Let's see. This was something that I thought was very interesting. One person in the house also asked Dr. Fauci this particular question. They wanted to know that if you get coronavirus, can you get it again? In fact, they actually asked, they say, if it was proven that you have it, and can you get it more than once? And they say it is likely that you will not. But here's the thing about it. They say that once you get it, your body is supposed to build up antibodies towards it. So that means that your body is supposed to build up antibodies to help fight against it. But this is what Dr. Fauci said. He said that if you test positive, if you are not immune, you can still transmit it, which means that if your body does not build antibodies against the coronavirus, you can still pass it on to somebody else with or without symptoms. Now, but he did say that if you get it, you test positive, and once it has cleared the body, please hear me well, once it has cleared the body, and you have the two-test process where you're tested 2 times in 24 hours. He said within a month to a month and a half later, the antibodies should have already cleared from the body. It said at that time, you cannot transmit the virus. He said once your body has cleared the virus, you cannot transmit the virus. So that's some information for you guys. Just want to bring some information to you guys. They have talked about they also addressed, they want President Trump to be a little bit more firm on things. They want him to cancel trips and so forth. They have also, this was one of the key points, they are going to mandate the cruise lines. There are 12 major cruise lines. They are going to mandate that they put things in place because they have had people to go on a cruise and to come back and spend 10-12 days in the States, and only to find out later that they had the coronavirus. So they are implementing or mandating that the cruise lines put something in place for the coronavirus. So they are discouraging. They are highly discouraging any cruise lines. Do not go on any cruise. Limit your activity. If you don't have to travel, do not travel. Make sure before you do decide to travel anywhere, look at that region to see how heavily hit it has been, for the coronavirus. Make sure if you have to go out, you use your hand washing. Be mindful of, we talked about the elbow method last night, as well as, coughing and sneezing into your collar. Lastly, I just want to say that Italy, Korea, Iran, and Europe have been hit hard. Right now, Europe is really, really being hit hard. They are discouraging long plane rides and cruises for anyone 60 to 65 and older. Now, this was another key point that they talked about. They say that sometimes it's not necessarily the chronological age as it is the physiological age, because sometimes you can have a person who may be 40 who have tons of medical problems, who may have lupus, who may have an autoimmune disease and so forth. This is a person that is going to be the equivalent to someone that's in their 60s because they're immunocompromised. So they talked about those type of things. Other than that, I think, guys, this will kind of conclude, all the information that I got from the video today. I'm steady watching everything, steady being trained so that I can bring you guys the information that's going to help you stay healthy throughout this time. As of right now, they have over 1,000 cases in the United States. One of the things that they wanted to do is press our president to make sure that he give truthful information to not create a panic during this pandemic. One of the House members brought up that our president lied and said that there were tests ready, and that was not true. He also brought up the fact that our president said that the coronavirus was a Democratic hoax. So they are stressing very heavily that they want the truth from our president, and they want him to set the example for the rest of the states as far as how we should conduct ourselves, to not be traveling all over the place, and to give truthful information. Okay, guys, you heard it from me. This is Hope Williams, your favorite practitioner, bringing you the information that you guys need and the information that you may not have time to decipher. Make sure you like this video. Guys, please keep sharing this video. It's not that I'm getting anything out of this, but I'm doing this because you guys have to stay healthy. And how do you stay healthy? By being informed. So take care. Peace.